The spirituality of forgiveness. Liberating your soul. What does it truly mean to forgive? In moments of pain, the idea of forgiveness can seem like an impossible task, almost like an unbearable burden. However, forgiveness is not just an act of kindness, but a path to spiritual liberation, a profound process that connects us with God and with the true essence of our soul. The spirituality of forgiveness is an essential key to spiritual awakening, because by releasing the weight of hurt, we open ourselves to a deeper experience of spiritual transformation and connection with the divine. When we forgive, we not only relieve the soul from suffering, but also experience true energetic healing. Forgiveness helps us see beyond offenses and wounds of the past, allowing us to understand that true spirituality resides in our capacity to release resentment and anger. When we forgive, we become more conscious of our spiritual journey, as this act connects us directly with divine guidance and spiritual wisdom. Through forgiveness, we are liberating our soul from the chains of pain and making space for a new beginning, an inner renewal. Have you ever wondered how forgiveness can transform your life? Spirituality teaches us that forgiveness is not an easy act, but it is essential for our spiritual evolution. When we forgive, we are not just liberating others. We are liberating ourselves from the prison that anger and resentment create within us. This is the power of genuine forgiveness. It is a tool for spiritual transformation. No matter how difficult the path may be, when we decide to forgive, we take a crucial step toward awakening consciousness and our own spiritual liberation. In this video, we will explore how the spirituality of forgiveness is a path to healing and strengthening our spiritual connection with God. During this journey, you will discover how forgiveness can teach us spiritual empathy, bringing us closer to who we really are and to the divine purpose in our lives. We will understand how forgiveness is not just about others, but about ourselves. Through forgiveness, we can reflect God's light in our being, and this strengthens our faith, enabling us to grow spiritually. In our spiritual journey, we are all called to forgive. We are chosen to live a life of love and compassion, and the spirituality of forgiveness is one of the most powerful expressions of this calling. When we forgive, we approach true spiritual connection and the spiritual transformation we so deeply seek. Throughout this video, we will share with you how this process of liberation can be the first step toward a fuller life, filled with peace and spiritual wisdom. Forgiveness as a path to inner liberation. Forgiveness is a central practice in Christian spirituality, but it is often seen as an act that should be performed only by those who have a pure heart. The reality, however, is that we are all called to forgive, regardless of our failures or the weight of the offenses we carry. Forgiveness is not an easy choice, but it is a vital step to strengthen our spiritual journey. When we forgive, we are not just liberating others, but also ourselves, making space for spiritual healing to happen from the inside out. As we reflect on this spirituality of forgiveness, it's important to understand that forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. Forgiveness doesn't erase the wounds of the past, but it gives us the strength to move forward without allowing these wounds to define who we are. Forgiveness liberates us from the invisible chains that bind us to feelings of anger, hurt, and revenge. It allows us to find peace because when we forgive, we restore our spiritual connection with God, aligning our actions with His divine will. Have you ever stopped to think about how forgiveness can affect your life and spirituality? Forgiveness has the power to transform the way we see the world and how we relate to others. It allows us to see beyond the surface, where human imperfections often lead us to resentment and judgment. When we forgive, we are invited to adopt a more compassionate and empathetic view, seeking to understand others through God's eyes. This is true spiritual awakening. When we forgive, we grow and approach the spiritual wisdom that guides us on our journey. Forgiveness also allows us to cultivate spiritual empathy, which is essential for our evolution as human beings and as Christians. By understanding others' pain and choosing to forgive them, we are imitating divine action in our own lives. God, in His infinite spiritual wisdom, forgives our failures not because we deserve it, but because He loves us unconditionally. This is the perfect example of how forgiveness can be a source of strength and spiritual transformation. And by following this example, we can heal our own wounds, allowing divine energy to flow in us. and through us. Forgiving is not an act of weakness, but of strength. When we forgive, we show our true spiritual essence, reflecting the peace that God desires for all His children. True freedom comes when we free ourselves from the shackles of resentment and hurt. When we practice forgiveness, we not only liberate our soul, but also approach a deeper and more genuine life of faith. Forgiveness allows us to advance in the spiritual journey with confidence, knowing that we are aligned with divine will and with the wisdom that God offers us. How has forgiveness influenced your spiritual life so far? Have you experienced the feeling of freedom that comes from forgiving someone who has caused you pain? Share your reflections and experiences in the comments. Your journey can inspire others to follow the path of healing through forgiveness. Forgiveness as energetic healing and spiritual transformation. The practice of forgiveness goes beyond emotional reconciliation. It acts directly on our vital energy, providing deep energetic healing. When we hold grudges or hurt, our spiritual energy becomes blocked, making it difficult to connect with God and with the divine purpose in our lives. These negative emotions not only affect our soul, but can also harm our physical and emotional health. Forgiveness, on the other hand, acts as a powerful healing tool, restoring the flow of positive energy and helping us regain inner balance. When we release the weight of anger and resentment, we allow our energy to align with divine peace and harmony. Forgiveness is a process of purification, a departure from the shadows that obscure our heart and mind. Through forgiveness, we are called to release the negativity that prevents us from growing spiritually. This act of purification is an opportunity to connect with our true essence, aligning ourselves with the spiritual wisdom that God offers to all His children. Have you ever felt how grudges and hurt can affect your health and well-being? When we are in conflict with someone or with ourselves, our energy becomes stagnant, creating blockages that hinder our spiritual growth. These blockages can even affect our relationships and distance us from divine purpose. Forgiveness, in turn, removes these obstacles and allows divine energy to flow again in our lives. It helps us live a fuller life, where spiritual healing and spiritual transformation become a reality. When we forgive, we create space for the manifestation of spiritual empathy. Empathy allows us to understand others' emotions without judgment, accepting them with compassion, just as God accepts us. This is one of the most powerful aspects of the spirituality of forgiveness. By liberating others from our expectations and resentments, we also free ourselves from the limitations that prevent us from growing. Forgiveness transforms how we see the world and connects us more deeply with others and with God. At this moment, I invite you to reflect on your own journey of forgiveness. How have you been dealing with the negative feelings that arise in your life? Forgiveness may seem challenging, but it is an essential tool for our spiritual evolution. By releasing hurts and opening your heart to forgiveness, you allow the energy of healing to flow in your life. This not only strengthens your connection with God, but also brings a sense of lightness and freedom. Don't underestimate the power of forgiveness. It can be the key to profound spiritual transformation. If you felt touched by this theme and wish to share how forgiveness has impacted your life, leave a comment below. Your experience can help others begin or continue their journey of healing through forgiveness. Share your thoughts with us. Forgiveness as a reflection of divine grace. God's grace is an undeserved gift, something that is given to us freely, regardless of our actions. It is this same grace that calls us to forgive, for just as God forgives us every day, we are invited to do the same. When we forgive, we reflect God's love and mercy in our lives. Forgiveness is not just a command, but an expression of the grace we receive from God, which strengthens and guides us on our spiritual journey. It helps us overcome human failures and find the true peace that can only be found in spiritual connection with the Creator. The act of forgiving challenges us to go beyond human understanding, which often clings to earthly justice. Divine justice, on the other hand, is not based on retaliation or punishment, but on redemption and unconditional love. When we decide to forgive, we are not only acting with grace, but also making space for spiritual wisdom to guide us. God's grace manifests in our actions, allowing us to live according to His divine purpose, even when we are challenged by situations of pain and conflict. Forgiveness helps us reflect this grace, allowing it to flow freely in our life. Forgiveness, therefore, is not a simple choice, but a reflection of our faith in God's grace. When we forgive, we align ourselves with the spiritual wisdom that teaches us to look at others with eyes of compassion. This view is fundamental to our spiritual evolution. The spiritual empathy we cultivate when forgiving helps us understand that each human being is on their own journey, facing challenges and struggles. When we offer forgiveness, we also offer a space for healing and transformation of the soul. This is the true power of forgiveness. It not only heals the relationship with others, but also strengthens our relationship with God. As we reflect on divine grace, we are reminded that, as children of God, we are called to live in harmony with His will. Forgiveness is a way to express this harmony, allowing divine love to manifest through our actions. Each time we forgive, we take a step closer to realizing the divine purpose for our lives, a purpose that invites us to live with empathy, compassion, and unconditional love. Forgiveness is not just an isolated act, but a daily practice that transforms us and brings us closer to our true spiritual essence. In this chapter, it's important to consider that forgiveness, although challenging, is a powerful tool for spiritual transformation. It not only heals emotional wounds, but also enables us to live according to the principles of divine grace. When we forgive, we are touched by a love that goes beyond human understanding, and this strengthens us to continue our spiritual journey with confidence and faith. How can you apply divine grace in your life? By forgiving those who have hurt you. Think about how forgiveness can transform your perspective on the difficulties you face. By reflecting on these questions, you can get even closer to the divine purpose in your life. Forgiveness as a path to inner peace. Forgiveness is, above all, a path to inner peace. Often, we carry within us the pain of injustices, betrayals, or harsh words spoken in the past. These feelings, if left untreated, become weights on our soul, preventing us from living fully and experiencing the true peace that God offers. Forgiveness allows us to leave these burdens behind, not because we forget what happened, but because we choose not to let the past dictate our future. When we forgive, we experience a peace that exceeds human understanding, a peace that can only be found when we surrender to divine will. When we choose forgiveness, we are making a conscious decision to seek the peace that comes from God. This doesn't mean the path will be easy, but it is a decisive step to align our life with divine truth. True inner peace is not the absence of conflicts, but the ability to maintain serenity even amid challenges, trusting that God is with us in every moment. Forgiveness, therefore, is not an act of weakness, but a demonstration of our spiritual strength. It enables us to live in harmony with the Creator, allowing His peace to envelop our being. As we reflect on the peace that comes through forgiveness, we realize that it is not a superficial peace, but one that transforms our essence. Forgiveness heals our deepest wounds, bringing forth a sense of freedom. When we let forgiveness enter our heart, our soul experiences a spiritual liberation, breaking the chains that bind us to past suffering. Forgiveness allows us to experience spiritual transformation, as it opens us to God's presence and connects us with His infinite mercy. It's important to remember that the inner peace that forgiveness offers us is not just a blessing for ourselves, but also for others. When we forgive, we are helping to heal the relationships around us, creating a space of love and compassion. Forgiveness creates a bridge between hearts, allowing wounds to be healed and new possibilities for understanding and connection to emerge. Each act of forgiveness is an opportunity to create a more harmonious and divine environment in our lives, reflecting God's light wherever we are. In seeking this inner peace, forgiveness calls us to live with a new perspective, a perspective of love, mercy, and spiritual transformation. It helps us break free from the bonds of resentment and anger, allowing our souls to rise and connect with the divine. No matter the pain we carry, forgiveness will always be the path to lasting peace, the true peace that only God can offer. Think of a moment in your life when you chose to forgive someone, even when it seemed difficult. How did that decision affect your inner peace? How did this choice transform your relationship with God and others? Consider how forgiveness can continue to help you find the true peace that God desires for you. Forgiveness as a gateway to spiritual transformation and personal growth. Forgiveness is a key that opens the door to true spiritual transformation. When we choose to forgive, we take a fundamental step in our spiritual journey, not only by healing our emotional wounds, but because when we forgive, we allow God's grace to invade every area of our life. Forgiveness is the link that connects us to divine purpose, as it calls us to look beyond what is before us, to see God's greater plan for our lives. Each act of forgiveness is an opportunity to experience spiritual renewal, a chance to grow and become the person God called us to be. The spiritual transformation that comes with forgiveness is profound. When we forgive, we release pain, hurt, and resentment, allowing divine energy to flow freely in our lives. This flow of energy not only heals us, but also strengthens us for the challenges ahead. Forgiveness allows us to see the world through God's eyes, leading us to greater spiritual empathy and understanding of others. Through this empathy, we grow in spiritual wisdom, becoming more capable of acting with love, compassion, and mercy, just as Christ did in his life. This transformation process doesn't occur immediately, but is a continuous path of growth. The practice of forgiveness leads us to a deeper spiritual awareness, where we begin to realize that offenses don't have the power to destroy us. Instead, they become opportunities to experience God's love more deeply and to release anything keeping us away from Him. This is the power of forgiveness. It takes us to a level of spiritual transformation that isn't possible in any other way. When we forgive, we become closer to God, more in tune with His will, and more aligned with our true purpose. Forgiveness is also a way to free ourselves from the control that external circumstances have over us. When we forgive, we not only release others but also free ourselves from the chains that keep us bound to the past. Forgiveness allows us to take ownership of our own life and take the reins of our spiritual destiny. It gives us the courage to face challenges with faith, knowing that by acting with love and mercy, we are closer to divine will. Forgiveness, then, becomes a powerful tool for personal growth as it strengthens us to move forward with confidence. As we reflect on the spiritual journey of forgiveness, we can see how it intertwines with all aspects of our life. Forgiveness is not just an act of releasing others from their failures, but also of freeing ourselves from everything that prevents us from growing spiritually. It is an open door to transformation, a door that leads us to a fuller life, more connected with God and others. Forgiveness is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves, as it allows us to live in peace, grow in spiritual wisdom, and draw ever closer to God's presence. How can you apply forgiveness in your daily life to continue your journey of spiritual transformation? In what ways can forgiveness help you grow and become the person God wants you to be? As you reflect on these questions, allow yourself to open the door to change and continuous spiritual growth. Forgiveness is not just a gift for others. It is, above all, a gift for ourselves. When we forgive, we free ourselves, heal ourselves, and draw closer to God. It is the path to true spiritual transformation and deep personal growth. May you continue your journey of forgiveness with courage, faith, and confidence, knowing that by forgiving, you are drawing closer and closer to God and His divine plan for your life. Did you like the content? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share with friends and family. There's much more inspiring content waiting for you. May your spiritual journey be blessed and full of light.